Another common situation is when you're dealing with what I call unstructured text files. And let me give you a toy example. Say you have a file called example.txt, and when you look at its content in a text editor, you will find these 4 lines of code. So I'm going to write outside the margin 4 numbers just to indicate the position for each line of text. So first line will be the quick brown fox. Line number 2 jumps over. Line number 3, the. Line number 4, lazy dog. And the question is, well, if we want to import this, if we want to read this file to our, again, say via RStudio, how can we do that? Notice that the content of the file is unstructured in the sense that it doesn't have that tabular rectangular structure, so just any sort of text. Well, in this case, we can use the readLines function. So the first word read, it's all lowercase. And then the second word lines, it's capitalized. So this is uppercase, capital L, readLines. What it does is it produces, or it reads things and gives you an output as a character vector. To give you a picture of what readLine will produce, so the first line, that text that corresponds to the quick brown fox, let me wrap it within quotes because everything will be read into a character vector. So this will be the text in the first element of that character vector. Then everything in the second line, which in this case is jumps over, so that piece of text will correspond to the second element. Then you have article the, so this will be the content of the third element. And finally, lazy dog, this will be the content of the fourth element in the output in the produce character vector. Here, the mandatory ingredient, again, is to specify the name of the file. And when I say the name of the file, it's not just the strings of the name of your file, but also its location. Another situation, this is perhaps less common than importing tables or unstructured text files, is when you have what it's called an RData file. These type of files are very specific to R, and it's essentially binary data files that are native to R. You could have, for instance, a file just simply called like that, just with the extension r.rdata, or you may have perhaps a more meaningful or unique name. Let's say you have a myfile.rdata. Again, both of these guys are supposed to be binary native data files. They typically, what they contain is basically R objects. I'm going to show you later how to create these files. Let's say you have one of them. And typically, the most common situation when one of these guys is created is when you close a session or ask you if you want to save the workspace image. If you say yes, R will automatically create an RData file containing all the objects created during that session. What is the function to import these guys? It's the load function. And again, what you need to provide is the name as well as the location, the directory, the folder containing these guys. Another situation for when you may be interested in importing data, and again, I'm using the word data very generally in an informal sense, is say you have one or more R script files. Typically, this situation is when, let's say I have an R script called myfunctions.r, so it's a plain R script. So let me draw a cartoon here, and let's pretend that over here I have several functions, function number 1, and then you have the lines, the code for function number 1. Let's say here you have another function, let me call it function number 2, and here's the, let's pretend this is the code of that function, etc. So you may be interested in importing these guys through your interactive session to R. The way to do that is with the source function. And again, what you need to specify is, well, what is the name, including the location, the directory of this guy. Other common situations for importing files could be when, say, you have data, and let's pretend that this data is in an HTML file. And let's be more specific. Let's say it's precisely in an HTML table. R has packages that come with functions to handle this type of situation. We'll come back to this part in a different video. You may also have a specific formats, specific situations. Again, look for, see if there are available packages in R that come with dedicated functions to handle those situations. It's very common to have available packages to do that. Related with this, I do want to mention the existence of a very useful package, the foreign package. It comes with R. It's not loaded by default, so you're going to have to load it again with the library function. So let me give you the list of functions available in foreign, some of the common ones. And also, I'm going to tell you the associated program. So for those of you that may need to import a file, a data file from the epi-info program, well, foreign package gives you the read.epi-info function. Let's say you are using, or you were handle a file from Minitab. Well, you could import those guys in R with read.mtp. Let's say you have a file from S+. Well, you could easily import these guys with read.uppercase S. Maybe you have a file from SPSS. Well, you have the corresponding function read.spss. You may have perhaps a file from Stata. Well, R has the read.dta function. Again, this is from the foreign package. Say you may have files from SAS. There are two functions. The read export, this is one of them that allows you to import SAS files. The other one is read.ssd. These both work with SAS. And then also for Octave, you have the read.octave function. Again, these are some of the common ones. You also have several R packages that in one way or another allowed you to import spreadsheets or different files based on Excel. Again, there is not just one package. There's actually a handful of them with different functions, different ways to interact, to import data from Excel. So this is useful to know that R has available packages to import Excel spreadsheets in R. The other comment, and again, this is just a comment, I'm not gonna show you any examples, but there's also several packages that allow you to interact with databases. I don't have a preferred, or I don't have a name to give you. You can Google it, you can search for it, and again, you're going to find several of them in which, in one sense, in one way or another, those functions will allow you to interact with external databases.